Hey everybody, it's Judy Klock here at Stampin' with Crafty Klock, coming to you tonight for another demo. I'm going to do two cards like I always do. One is going to be on the simpler stamping side, and one will be just a little bit more stepped up. But both cards will include some torn paper techniques that I hope you'll like. And we're going to be playing with the Trucking Along bundle. This is one of the new online exclusives. It comes with this great Trucking Along set and the punch. Now, I believe the stamp set is currently on back order, but it's going to be back in stock, I think, by the end of July. So you'll have it in plenty of time for the holidays. And I'm sort of doing a whole Christmas in July theme this month. If you caught me on Tuesday with my lesson at lunch, I showed you the marbling technique to do a marbled background. And I did a quick Christmas card that I was using for one of the challenges in our Christmas in July creative retreat. There is still time to register for that. I'll drop the link below at the end of this video. And if you want to register, we have plenty of room. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're doing an ugly sweater contest right now, and it's all virtual. So feel free to register and join the fun. We've got some great prizes. We've got like a 6x6 one sheet wonder tutorial as one of the prizes, and we've got a grand prize of a free registration for our next creative retreat. So one lucky person will get a registration for our next creative retreat in January. But anyway, I hope you'll join us and join the fun. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we're going to do. Let me swap my screens. I always forget to do that. Let me swap that. And I'm having trouble getting my camera placement right. There we go. That looks straight. So we're going to start off with a really easy card. We're just going to do a two-layer card. We're just going to do some simple stamping. We're going to use a punch, and we are going to do just a little bit of fussy cutting. And then we're just going to add that sentiment. So again, pretty simple. And we're going to take our wink of Stella and kind of dot it so it kind of looks a little bit like falling snow. At least I hope that's what it looks like. That's the effect I was going for. And then we're going to, again, this is fairly simple, but we did use a couple of die sets. These are the new Nested Essentials. They were new in the annual catalog. So we're going to go ahead and just do, again, a fairly simple card, but we've added those die cuts. So that does kind of step it up to the next level. So let's go ahead and get started with our simple stamping card. So I've got here, this is a base of Starry Sky. I've got a piece of basic white for the inside. That's 4 by 5 1/4. I've got a layer for the outside. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And then we've got a piece of white. This is 5 1/4 by 2. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to rip this. So let's go ahead and get this started. We're just going to rip this because we want to get kind of like those snow drifts. Okay, and that is going to live on our Starry Sky layer. So let's go ahead. Let's stamp our truck. Now let me grab my photopolymer mat and stick that under my scrap paper. I've got just a piece of scrap paper here that I'm going to use to stamp our truck. So there's kind of 3 parts to the truck. So I'm going to stamp the truck body in real red because, I mean, why not? That is kind of a Christmassy color, right? Plus, I don't know, red pickup trucks and Christmas just seem to go together, I think. And then we've got the truck outline that we're going to stamp. I hope I left it on I did. I was going to say, I thought I put everything on blocks before I started to make it easy. And this always gets a little tricky between the glare from the light and my glasses. Okay. All right, not too bad. It did pretty good with the placement. And then we've got the wheels. I thought I had the wheels still on a block, but maybe I took them off. I must have taken them off. Let me go check my case. I did not. Where did I put the wheels? Well, I'll be not there. Oh, there they were hiding under another block. Okay, and again, I'm going to stamp these in basic black, and we're going to try to get these to line up with the hubcaps and the wheel outlines on the truck. Okay, all right. Not too bad, a little bit off, but not too bad. All right, so now we're ready to go ahead and punch this. Let me just close up my inks for a minute. All right, so now that we've got our truck stamped, we are ready to punch it out. Just, when you think you want it. And our punches, I always use our punches upside down so I could see where I am placing the item that I've stamped. If you're just stamping, like if you're just punching a solid piece of paper and you don't need to worry about where you're punching it, then that's fine. You don't need to look at it. You know what? I forgot to grab 2 colors of green. I'm going to use garden green and shaded spruce for that Christmas tree in the back of the truck. And I totally forgot to grab these. So my apologies. I'm always forgetting something. No matter how prepared I try to be, I always forget. All right, so I am going to stamp. There's 2 Christmas tree images. One is more solid, and I'm going to stamp that in our garden green. Got a little piece of scrap right there. I'm just going to stamp that right there because we're going to cut it. And then we've got our tree outline, and I'm going to stamp that in our in our shaded spruce. So garden green for the base, shaded spruce for the overlay. Again, the glare and the glasses don't match. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to fussy cut this. And y'all know how I feel about fussy cut. Not my favorite thing to do, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to leave this piece of white on the bottom because I'm going to use that to adhere it to my truck. So I'm just going to start there. And I'm just going to, now when you're fussy cutting, at least what they tell me is you're supposed to turn the paper and not really move the scissors. So we shall see. But I have to fussy cut on both of these tonight. So yikes. That's all right. Gives me something to do. How was everybody's day today? Anybody do anything exciting? I worked, so not exciting. But then I get to come down and play. So this is exciting. I love coming online and chatting with all of you and learning what you're up to and sharing all my fun stuff with you. I love doing this. It just makes me happy. Having a hobby is just so good for you. It's just, it just helps to relieve the stress. It's always good to create something, and it's even better when you can mail it out. So now you see why I kept that there. I'm just going to use that. I put some adhesive on the back there, and I'm just going to now lay that right there. And that extra little piece on the bottom just kind of helps hold it in place. All right, let's start assembling our card. Let's start with our inside. We're going to put in a piece of blank paper so we can write a note to whomever we're sending it. Always good to have a piece of white in there. I just think it makes it look finished. Now, I tore my paper because I wanted it to kind of look like a snowbank. So I'm going to add that to the bottom edge of my Starry Sky layer. I love these colors. I'm going to be sorry to see these colors retire next year. I do love them, especially that Tahitian Tide. So I'm using these colors. I'm using all the 2022-24 in colors for my August class with Sending Smiles. So I'm excited about that. All right, so now we've got this. But before I put this on there, I want to go ahead and I want to take my Wink of Stella. Okay, and I'm just going to now make sure I've got some coming out. I'm just going to kind of flick it over my paper because I want it to look like we've got some snowfall coming. Okay, so just do as much or as little as you want. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to get it all over the paper. It's going to be a little messy, so make sure you have scrap paper down on your table. Okay. Okay. Okay, I think that looks good. A little bit more up here, maybe. Just want to make sure I have it all over. Okay, so we're going to let that dry for a minute. We're going to go ahead and we're going to add our truck with some dimensionals. But before we do that, I want to add, if you notice here, I've got like the little shadow from the truck. So let's go ahead and stamp that on our basic white. All right. Going to stamp that. Doesn't really matter which way you go, I don't think. I'm sure if I do it wrong, someone will let me know. Because the guys are all really good about that, telling me when I make a mistake, and I love it because that's how we learn. So it's all good. I couldn't remember the name of a card. One day, and someone goes, "It's called a bridge card." I'm like, "Yes, that is correct. Thank you." So it's all good because, you know, sometimes we can't possibly know everything. All right, we're going to add our truck. All right, now I'm going to stamp. I want to stamp a little sentiment. And I'm just doing this while I kind of let that Wink of Stella dry just a bit. I don't want it to get like smushy. You know, if you like, if I turn that over, I'm going to go put that on my card. And if it's still wet, I may just use some liquid glue. Okay, is this going to fit this way? Look at that. How perfect is that? Wishing you a festive Christmas. Okay, I'm just going to go trim that up on my paper trimmer. So this is why scraps are really good, because you can use them for, you know, little tiny pieces and little sentiments and stuff. So don't throw your scraps out. They really do come in handy. So we got that. All right, now let's go ahead. Before we put that on, I want to take our Simply Elegant twine, which I literally just had. And now I can't, my desk is it's in complete and total chaos because I'm in the middle of like 3 projects. I'm working on my August class designs. I've got my July class workshop happening this weekend. And I've got the creative retreat happening next weekend. So I've got projects all over the place for all 3 events. So I'm going to take some twine, I don't know, maybe about 6 inches, 4 or 5 inches. And I'm just going to kind of put it in like a figure 8 pattern. Okay, so it's going to kind of look like a bow. I'm going to trim it. And then I'm going to add a little seal. Let me just make sure. I'm going to add a little seal down here. Okay, and we're just going to kind of put that figure 8 pattern right on the back there. Okay, make sure you kind of have the loopies even. I don't really think that's a technical term, but I'm calling them loopies. I want to have that go down. And you see, it kind of looks like a little bow, but we didn't really tie it. We just kind of smushed on there. Now, I also put a little bit, I'm going to put it on with dimensionals. So I kind of put one over there to help hold that in place. I don't know if that really works, but I'm going to do it. All right, so let me see. This is, I think it's pretty dry. So let's go ahead. We'll add some seal to the back. Okay. Put this on our card front. And now we will add our sentiment. And there is our first card. So really very simple. We only have straight cuts. We did a little bit of fussy cutting and we did some torn paper technique. And then we kind of just flicked our Wink of Stella over it to kind of make it look like a little bit of snow coming down. And that was card number 1. So let me know what you think. All right, let's go on to card number 2. Again, this is not that difficult, but because we've added the use of the dies, that kind of elevates it up to beyond a beginner. So let's get started. We're going to stamp, have a festive Christmas on the inside. I'm going to use Orchid Oasis because that's going to be my card base. So I'm going to stamp festive Christmas in the Orchid Oasis. Oh my goodness, that's got ink on it. Well, that will definitely be our backside. Okay, wishing you a festive Christmas. Okay, now I'm going to also stamp on our little nested die cut special delivery. And again, we're sticking with our Orchid Oasis because we're kind of keeping everything in that same color. So we've got those 2. Let's go ahead and stamp our truck and our presents. So we've kind of we've stamped the truck once. So same thing, it's 3 stamps. We're gonna stamp it in the real red. I'm keeping everything very simple right now in terms of my stamps and my inks. I'm not going crazy with a whole bunch of different truck outline. The outline just makes it look so good, I think. It just adds that little something extra that I think gives it that really special look. But again, that's just me. Okay, we've got that. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add those wheels. Okay. Let's go ahead and add those wheels. Okay. My husband actually used to have an old truck like this. Let's go ahead and punch that out. It was when he sold it, it was the drummer from, oh gosh, I can't remember which band, but it was a pretty well-known band. The drummer from that band, from the band, bought it. I'll have to ask him if he can remember which band it was. Blink 52, maybe? I think that was it. Okay, so then we're going to stamp again on a little piece of scrapped cardstock. We're going to stamp these presents. And again, I'm going to use it in tuxedo. And again, I'm going to leave it a little bit up from the exact edge because we want to use that to adhere this piece to our truck image. So before I go ahead and cut this out, let's do a little coloring. Let's color these presents. Because what's Christmas without pretty wrapped presents? Okay. So that was lemon lolly. I've got some real red. I don't remember if I grabbed the lights or darks. These are light. These are light real red. Okay. And then we're going to go with, what did I get? I think I grabbed shaded spruce, the light shaded spruce. I'm just going to go there. I meant to use the other tip, but that's okay. This one works just as well. So these are, doesn't matter if you kind of go past the stamped image because these are all going to be hidden. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to fussy cut this out. Okay, it's going to take me just hopefully not that long to do the fussy cutting because I'm not going to, I tried to pick ones that weren't that intricate, but you can go with like a summer theme because there's a palm tree and surfboard that can go in the back of the truck. It looks like there's maybe sunflowers for the fall and potted plants for the spring. So this is not just seasonal. This really can go all year round. And if you leave the truck bed empty, you could just use it for masculine birthdays, kids' birthdays. You can put balloons if you've got the balloon bouquet. You could use that and put balloons in there. All right, let's go ahead and add a little bit of seal here. Okay, and then, as you can see, we're just going to put that like that. And that's why I kind of leave that little bit of extra on the bottom, like I said, just to make sure I can get it. I think I went over a little bit too far, but that'll be fine. Okay, let's do one last thing for stamping. I wanted to stamp some of those trees. I was kind of hoping they'd look a little bit more like they didn't have leaves on them, but they still kind of look pretty leafy. So they're not really great winter trees, but I'm hoping they look more like winter trees. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to stamp 3 of those. Now, again, we're going to take our extra piece of white and we are going to tear it. Again, there's no right or wrong way, however you want to tear it to make it look like it's going to be a snowdrift. And I'm going to put these here. Now, this might be a little too high because of where I placed my trees. I'm going to come down a little bit more. All right, that's fine. Okay, that'll be perfect. All right, let's go ahead and add this. Okay. And we are ready to put our card together. All right. Got that on there. Now let's go ahead. Let's put our inside in. Get that out of the way. Because I can make a mess out of literally anything, folks. So tomorrow I'll be back down here before my 7 o'clock workshop to quickly at least clean one table so I can have one table ready for Saturday's morning's class workshop. I call them workshops. I was referring to them as classes, and one lady was very upset because they're very informal. I mean, we make cards and we have fun, but I'm more about the community and I want everyone to have fun than I am with formal teaching. I don't, because every creation is different, is as unique as the person who created it. Let me go ahead and put my truck kind of right there. And again, I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. I love me some dimensionals. Who else loves dimensionals? I love them. And I don't know why, but I do. All right. We're going to pop that right there. Okay. Now we're going to add, again, that little strip under our truck. Okay. Now let's finish up with our label. I would have cried if I had dropped that ink pad all over my card. That would have been a very sad, sad day. All right. And now before we go, we're going to take our elegant trim again. And I guess I'll just use the silver this time again. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to make a bow, but this time I am going to put it on the outside. Okay, so we've got that. Okay, and that looks pretty good. I'm a little surprised. Usually it takes me 2 or 3 tries, but that one actually came out fairly decently. Okay, let's go ahead and add this on with our dimensionals. Oh, look at that. 2 of them stuck together. Oh, well. We're going to stick that right there. And then we're going to use a glue dot to adhere our bow onto our sentiment label. Glue dots are great for adhering little loose embellishments and bows like this. Okay, let's put that over there. And then if we wanted, we could just add a little wink of Stella and give those presents some shine. Okay. And that is our second card. So these were our 2 cards from tonight. Again, really very easy cards. I don't think they were too difficult to make. This one was more of a simple stamping card, all straight cuts, a little bit of torn paper there, and we kind of splattered our wink of Stella on there. And then for the next one, again, really simple. We again have a little piece of that torn paper there, but we added the die cuts. That just kind of stepped it up just a bit. That's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget, there's going to be a corresponding blog post with measurements for you to have. And if you really like what you see and you like what I do, go ahead and sign up for my weekly email. I always include a tutorial as well as tips and tricks, and we just share news and info and what's going on and where I'm going to be and all that good stuff. That's it. Have a great night, everybody. Bye.